Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to deploy DeepSeek R1 model into the local system. So what does that mean? Let's understand. So when you go to the DeepSeek chat interface via website, okay, so you normally type here, you get the result from the DeepSeek, whether it is R1 or V3 model. So these results are coming directly from China because these models, basically these are files which are deployed into their servers which are present in China. Now if you think that you instead of you subscribing to this and making your GenAI application, it is little costly for you, what you can do, you can run the same model, basically same set of files in your local system in or any hardware. You can purchase any hardware, have the same CPU, GPU, RAM combination and run the same model. That is possible. Okay, so if your system has CPU or GPU, accordingly you can choose a model of DeepSeek and then run it within your local system. And how we can achieve it? With the help of Ollama. Ollama is a tool to run model LLMs into the local system, into any hardware. Okay, so this is the Ollama website, ollama.com, where you can simply go basis on your operating system. If you have Windows, you can simply choose Ollama for Windows, download it, and let us click this link, download link. Okay, so it gives us three options basis on my operating system. It pre-selected Linux, but similarly as per your system it may select Mac OS or Windows. You can simply select that particular operating system, download it and simply install. Very smooth installation is possible. Okay, and similarly for Mac OS as well as Linux. Our system is Ubuntu 24, obviously it is Linux, so I followed the same command. This particular command, just copied it with this button, and then I just simply go to the terminal, I paste that particular command and hit enter. In my case, I already installed that particular Ollama tool in my system, so it took around maybe 10 minutes. So it bases on your speed, bandwidth, internet bandwidth, it will take time. Okay, so it not much time it will take. Primarily the time taken will be more basis on what model you are going to install after this Ollama installation. Okay, so once the Ollama is installed, so I can run the command with the help of Ollama. Okay, like this. If I this is the command that I can run Ollama after installation. Okay, now get back to the site ollama.com. Now Ollama is saying that go you can run any model which is present in this Ollama website. You can simply choose that particular model and run the command. So in case of DeepSeek R1, DeepSeek R1 is a very big model and it requires high GPU, right? H800 is the one that they claim that they trained R1, they can run it. So basically it requires high CPU, GPU and maybe require more money from your pocket. But if you have like 8 GB of RAM or 16 GB of RAM, you can start working with 1.5B variant, 7B variant. I think a couple of variants you can obviously try. In my system, I do not have GPU, I only have CPU. So I've selected 1.5B. So you just have to go inside DeepSeek R1, choose that particular model. Like suppose you want to run this particular model 1.5B, this 1.5 billion parameter. So actual R1 is basically 671 billion parameter, which is 404 GB, which requires this much of space in your local system. Obviously very high. So if you think that let me try it out in my system, you can simply go with 1.1 GB variant, 1.5 billion parameter or 7 billion parameter basis on your hard disk space. So choose one point. In my case, I have selected this basically, and then it gives us the command. I can simply copy this command, Ollama run DeepSeek R1 1.5B. It is the same that we discussed in the last video, which is like a Llama 1.5B distilled model. So we can run this distilled model. Simply copy this particular command. You can again type this command over here after installation of Ollama, and that's it, and hit enter. Okay, so it will download 1.1 GB as per the space it requires. So whatever is your bandwidth, internet bandwidth, accordingly it will take time. Okay, once the installation is done, once the download of this model is done, it automatically runs this model. Basically I already have this model installed, downloaded in my system after running this command. What you can do, so you after that particular command got executed, so let me show you how it basically run. Okay, Ollama run DeepSeek R1 colon 0.5B. Okay, so as soon as I click hit enter, so it runs this model and present me with the prompt. Okay, So here I can do the same thing that normally I do with the chat interface. If I type in hello, it says, it shows the think mode because by default R1 is a thinking mode. So whatever the R1 thinks while before responding, it will print over here. Okay. Suppose I say, hey, where is Delhi located? Okay. So it says, okay, it's thinking. So now it does not require much of a thinking. So that's why the think block is empty. But if it requires a thinking, like suppose you are asking some medication, some kind of questions related to some knowledge, so or you want to generate a code with the help of this particular tool, you can get that thing done, and it will present it within this think block. Okay. So this is the response it returns. So similar kind of experience you can have. Now it is running in your system. It takes up your CPU, your operating system CPU, your everything related to that, your hardware basically. But it does not actually, the call does not go directly to the Chinese servers. Okay. So that is how you can run DeepSeek R1 in local. So to come out of the shell, you just have to type in Control D. Okay, let me clear the screen. And if you want to see, like suppose you run DeepSeek, you can also run multiple as well. Like suppose you want to run Llama and other models as well. You can select that particular model, Llama 3.3, and run this command. So this particular model will get executed into your system. Okay. Similarly, you can run other models. As you run multiple models, you might forget, okay, how many models I run previously, what all models it downloaded in the past. Okay. To see that Ollama, to see that you type in this command Ollama ls command, you will able to see the models that you have downloaded earlier, okay, on which you run the command run command. Okay, so I have already run this Llama 3.2 1 billion parameter one, so it is showing over here. So I have couple of models running into my couple of models downloaded onto my system. Okay, but it runs one model at a time. So whatever it runs, we can see which model it is currently executing with the help of ps command. So this particular model is loaded into my system. It is currently running, so that's why it is showing up this 100% CPU and all. Okay, so by default when it runs, it runs on a particular port. So the port number is basically, this is the port number 11434 on which the Ollama runs. Okay, so against this particular Ollama, basically Ollama APIs, we can actually write a program, interact with it like the way we normally do. So in order to create a GenAI application, we simply take up the API key or take up the credits from DeepSeek or any other LLM provider. Okay, LLM API provider. We actually take the API, right? API details, etc. Similarly here, if you run Ollama in local, this is the API detail, the endpoint detail, which is by default the port number is 11434. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we can make use of LangChain to interact with the locally running DeepSeek R1 with the help of Ollama. Okay, so we have already seen that we have executed the Ollama in local machine. Now how do we use LangChain in order to interact with that particular local model? Basically whatever we are running over here, it interacts with our local system only. The call does not go outside my system, it runs within my system only. So that is the beauty. Okay, so how what I did to get it executed, in I have a Python program. Basically the setup is done by using UV. So UV is a Python package manager written in Rust, which is fastest, and it is quite good tool. And instead of, I prefer this particular way of writing the code instead of going to the notebook, etc. Because primarily I think that ultimately this is easy to bundle with, and I can bundle it with fast API, etc. and then deploy it into the AWS cloud or Google cloud or whatever, Azure cloud. Okay, so what I did, I've just used the UV add command to install a couple of dependencies for running it against Ollama. Okay, so one is Ollama itself. Okay, Ollama, simply typing in UV add Ollama. Okay, so this particular line gets added, and secondly I done UV add LangChain dash Ollama. So that way this particular line gets added, this particular dependency gets added. Okay, so couple of commands you need to run, and I've already given this link, this particular repo link in the previous videos. I'm going to put it in the description section, you can check it out, so don't worry about that code. Okay, so let's look into the code quickly. So normal code, as LangChain provide LangChain provider or LangChain dependency, correct? In this case I'm going to use LangChain Ollama provider. So I simply type in from LangChain underscore Ollama import chat Ollama. Okay, or this is a class that is used to interact with the Ollama. Okay, so chat Ollama model, and which model I'm using? R1 1.5 billion parameter. Base URL I already talked about, and then simple message, system instruction, you are a scientist, respond in short words or in short, and then human instruction, how can I make rocket? Okay, so then model dot invoke messages. So let us see the response of this. So how we can run this command? uv run and then path of the file Ollama chat.py, hit enter. Now it goes into the thinking mode, and then because in this case it requires a thinking mode. Okay, what I am asking, so that's why it will print up the think block first and then the actual message. Okay, because this is how the this is how the R model works, right? The R1 model works, reasoning model. Basically it reason out things and then it prints. Okay, hold for a second and it will print. Basically it is doing thinking in the background and then I'm printing. But if you think that it continuously print like the chat interface, then you can make use of the stream API of LangChain, then it will continuously print as it think. Okay, so you just have to hold on for a second and it will respond. Okay, yep, the response came in, you see. Yeah, so this is the response that we receive. If you look into this, the think block is very huge, and then it think. Finally, the output. Begin building your rocket, consider the following organized approach. So that is how it actually responded back with my question after thinking and then responding. Okay, so this everything is coming from Ollama itself, which is running in the local, and DeepSeek R1 is deployed on top of it. So yeah, so that's the crux of this video. So we can run DeepSeek R1 as well as other models into the local machine with the help of Ollama, and we have seen that how we can make use of LangChain Ollama integration provider to run this particular program into the local machine. I hope you learned a lot in this video. So stay tuned with me to watch out other videos in this series. Thank you so much for giving us a lot of love and also sharing my videos over the channel. So keep doing that. Thank you so much. Bye.